Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the webinar. We are very excited to announce and share information on QCS's new program for Aquaponics GAP Food Safety Certification, and just a couple of housekeeping items. The webinar itself is listen only, so if you do have any questions throughout it, please feel free to use the chat box, which should be off to your left, and we will get to the questions at the end. So just to kind of start out and introduce QCS, Quality Certification Services is an accredited certification program. We started certifying organic growers in 1989, and we obtained USDA National Organic Program accreditation in 2001. Since then, we have attained multiple other international accreditations and expanded our certification services to include food safety and some ethical schemes as well. So these are some of the accreditors which we work with and certifications which we offer. One of which, Global GAP, is we offer multiple certifications. It is a GFSI recognized scheme, and the IFA Aquaculture is one of the certification programs that we offer under Global GAP. QCS is accredited to ISO 65, which is transitioning to 17065 now. So we have multiple international accreditors which verify our conformity assessment for the certifications which we showed before, and these are our current accreditors. So with that introduction, we will move on to introduce the standards, and Dr. Mario Velasco, who is the Food Safety Program Manager at QCS.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mario. I will thank you for attending this webinar, and I will follow up now with the general agenda for the seminar, just to give you an idea how we're going to move through the presentation. First question is, why do I need the certification now? We will cover what the scope of the certification is, to whom it may be useful, what does the standard cover. There will be like general presentation of the standard with about 7 slides. Then you are still interested, how can you obtain this certification? And we will finish when does QCS, the auditor, needs to come out to conduct the audit, and can QCS answer questions about the operation. So let's start then with the first question here of relevance as a general overview. Why do I need the certification now from the point of view of the producer? Well, it's not required. This is a totally voluntary program. It's just a way for your operation, a first step towards, if you have never gone through any certification program, through any other scheme, to show commitment to food safety, commitment to your good production practices, and that you care about your operation and your customers. But this is just a personal decision. If no buyers are requiring you to be certified, this is just a personal decision to show your commitment to good practices. At the same time, by going through this third-party audit, you may reduce risk and maintain your good reputation through showing continuous improvement in the way you do things and you view things as you move forward. So I just want to emphasize, this is completely a voluntary program, and there is no mandatory requirement to obtain the certification. So the scope for this certification, it covers the production and the harvesting of your crops on the fish or shellfish that you may be producing in your operation. That's the first general overview of what the certification, what the standard covers, and we will go in a little bit more detail later on. And just You can combine this with other certifications that we offer. Our auditors are all trained for all of the standards that we offer, so that you can streamline it according to your needs and what to obtain. So for whom should this certification be useful? We have the standard was developed so that any operation, regardless of type, locations, or size, can obtain this certification and going through this audit. So that is a holistic overview, including your whole complete aquaponic operation. What the standard covers, it covers the on-farm activities and the production processes with requirements addressing good agricultural practice issues. Now, the standard is organized in 6 categories or 6 major sections that we will describe in the following slides. It covers, it has a total of about 72 requirements or control points, and from these, 22 are must level, which meaning that you must comply 100% on these 22 control points, and the other 50 have a level of calculation that will enter into a calculation, and for a first audit, you have to comply with 80% of the applicable control points that have a calculation level. So the first section, it covers our issues of general management for the complete operation. This means, for example, you have a requirement for a written food safety policy outlining the commitment of the operation to food safety that must be signed by the owner or senior management. And here I'm just showing an example, the standard food safety policy declaration that another scheme, Global GAP, uses, and that must be signed, but you can develop your own written food safety policy. This is just an example. In this section, other control points that are covered is the official registration of the activity with the state or the corresponding authority, all of the required production records of your operation, and they must be maintained. The standard is requiring a minimum of 60 days of records and documentations available complying with the standard on the date of the first audit. So you have had to comply and have records and that, so that when the auditor goes, you must have records for 60 days on the day of the audit. And very important also, the standard requires that you have conducted a self-assessment annually before the audit conducted by QCS. And for this end, we have also developed a grower self-audit checklist that is available for you to download as a tool that you can use to conduct this self-audit. And this is in line with many of the other schemes that we offer that are GFSI recognized. As you move on, you will that most of the certification schemes require this as a self-audit, so we have included it in here also as a good practice to do before the audit, the formal audit is conducted towards the certification. A second section deals with issues of hygiene, just workers' health and hygiene practices, in general terms, availability of toilets and hand washing facilities. Other very important issue with hygiene is workers' hygiene training for hygiene, and any other processes that you are doing training becomes very important, but very, very important for hygiene issues in this section. The third major section deals with chemical management and storage. This deals with issue of chemical storage disposal, what you do with empty containers or chemicals that you're not using anymore that are excess chemical, maintenance of MSDS, inventory for all of the chemicals that you have and your operation that you are storing, etc. But this is just to give you a general flavor of what the chemical management and storage section covers. Then the fourth section is regarding the crops. In here, the standard requires microbial analysis of the water that is being used in the operation, minimum once per year, and the prohibition of pesticides. This section is for fish and shellfish issues. For example, the sources of the fingerlings or horse larvae that you may be using, they must be purchased from a hatchery so that no wild capture or fingerlings or horse larvae is allowed in the standard. Other issues like feed and feeding management, health management of your fish or shellfish, medicine usage, mortality records that have to be maintained, and management of that mortality. So that's some of the basic issues that this section covers. And the last main section deals with the last part of the standard, the harvesting of the crops and the fish and shellfish, with issues. This is the last section that will be pre-harvest check, the harvesting itself. If you're using ice, what water was used to make that ice, the containers or bins that you're using, packaging at the point of harvest, etc. So this is the last section, major section of the standard. As I said, there is a total of the 72 control points. And with this, we end the general overview of the standard content. And I will now follow with the next item in the agenda, that is the steps to follow if you are interested in obtaining this certification. So the first thing that you want to do is download the documents that we have available in our website and review what the standard, your self-audit checklist that we have there also available for you, the application. We also have a FAQ document there for you to look at. Gather all of the necessary information and then fill out the application and then return it to QCS. But I want to make emphasis that before sending it to QCS, this is very important. Please check on the application that yes, you have your written food safety policy, that you have conducted audit, and that you have at least 60 days of records available for the audit. All of these are control points that have a level of mass, and if we go there and you don't have these things, then you will not be able to certify. It will take longer because you will need to take corrective action. So the application before, if you are in a hurry, before the 60 days of records, but make sure that by the day of the audit, you at least have these 60 days of records and documentation complying with the standard. So the next step, then QCS will process your application and make an offer and send you a contract, a service contract agreement to be signed. The payment then will be received on the schedule. Then is scheduled on the agreed date with you, and you have to be aware that the audit must assess the entire process. There is an option there if you only initially want to certify your crop or maybe only your fish production or shellfish production. That is an option, but the standard is made so that the whole thing and is more economically viable to certify the entire production of your crops and aquaculture products at the same time. So the complete entire process must be assessed and audited, and if not compliant, then the producers must take corrective actions and QCS must verify them. To this end, if you have to take corrective actions, you have a total of 14 calendar days to submit evidence of your corrective actions to the auditor that conducted the audit. So that is 14 calendar days after the audit date. If compliance is found during the on-site audit, or you submit the corrective evidence within that calendar day time frame, then all of your file is reviewed by a different person that is making the final review and certification decision. If everything is approved, then the certification is granted, and then the certification is valid for 12 months after the certification decision date is made. And if you want to renew, you need to submit the following year a new application and schedule another on-site assessment to renew. This entire process, from the time we QCS receive a signed contract if you meet all of the requirements and there is no extension to take corrective actions, etc., the average that we're seeing to obtain the certification, the timeline may be about 30 to 45 days. I want to emphasize again, when do we need to go and conduct the audit? It's very important that your operation is operating, that has activities that are being conducted, including the harvesting process at the first audit, the harvesting for your crop and the harvesting of your fish. On the first audit, we have to assess the complete operation activities, and so that we can assess all the control points. Now, for a renewal, if nothing has changed, it's the same species, we may do away with just a mock harvest, but at least every other year we will have to see a complete harvest of your crop and fish as well. So at this point, I'll pass the baton to Denise again to finish the presentation with the last slide.
All right. Thank you, Mario. So the next question would be, may I contact QCS with questions about my operation? And as a certifier, QCS cannot offer consulting services. So if you need help to comply, there are resources out there. We have some listed on our website. There are a few listed here that can help you, or folks that can comply with the standard, but QCS cannot offer that service. Coordinating your organic certification and your aquaponics GAP certification, we would love to accommodate that and put the two together. We have trained our inspectors in doing both, so just let us know what your needs are and we'll be happy to help you get that done. So on our website, if you have any questions, if you could check there first, you can find the standard itself. There is an overview primer for growers, an FAQs, and then, as Mario said, the self-audit checklist and fee structure and application for the program. So there are a lot of resources there. If you have any further questions, we'll end the slideshow in a moment and see if there are any questions. If not, feel free to contact us, and we will be happy to get back to you at the email address or at the QCS phone number. So I'll close this out. And let's see if we have any questions. Okay, I'm not showing any questions for now. If you do have any, I'll leave this open for a moment in case people did have questions, and then we'll answer those before we close out.
Okay, we have a first question. The first question is asking, is there a cost associated with certification? If you go to our website, you'll see that yes, there is a cost associated with the certification. We have a document there that is about the steps to certify on fee structure. The fee structure that we have put in place is trying to not make it prohibitive and available for any size operation. I think it's around $500. The whole certification fee plus including the on-site audit and the whole process of certification decision, etc., plus cost travel to your operation. We have another question. Is this certification recognized by the USDA? No, our organic certification is recognized by USDA. This aquaponics certification, as we mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, is voluntary. This is a QCS private standard, and it was just thought as a first step to have a tool available for producers to get, let's say, a first initial steps going through a certification process, but it's not recognized by USDA. This is a QCS private standard that was developed just as a tool for the sector. We have a logo was developed, and the logo will show in the certificate, but it can be used on the product itself as long as you have a valid certificate. I have another question. No, this is not, this standard is not GFSI recognized either. GFSI recognition standards go through a very, let's say, intricate, it has very much more demanding the whole structure, the audit, the compliance, etc. But this will be a very good first step if you're thinking that at some point you will need to move to another scheme that is also GFSI recognized, like the Global Gap scheme. In fact, there is already some operations, and the development of this standard, the QCS private standard, was with this thought in mind, to have a robust standard that is affordable, that would be like a first step towards more developed and more stringent standard, like a GFSI recognized scheme, like its Global Gap.
Okay, do we have any more questions from folks? Okay. The email and our website will be sent to everyone after the call in case you have any additional questions, and you'll be able to find all the resources there on our website. If we can assist you in understanding the standard or through the application process in any way, please feel free to contact us. If you have any feedback on the webinar or on the standard itself, please provide that to us. We would love to hear back from you so that we can improve ourselves. So with that, we will adjourn. Thank you very much for your interest and your attendance of the webinar. We really hope that this presentation and the tools that we've developed are of benefit to you moving forward. And now we conclude the webinar. Thank you very much.
Thank you.